Our next question, we will start with candidate Francis. Both of you have served as county commissioners. What has been your voting record on raising the mill levy? Candidate Francis, 60 seconds.
While I was a county commissioner, the mill levy went from approximately 24 to 25 and a quarter mills the entire time. I'll let my opponent speak to the increase while he's been a county commissioner.
Candidate Rice.
I'll tell you right up front, my record and our commission record has probably been to increase the mills, not because, you know, there's a fallacy here. Everybody goes by, oh my gosh, the mill levy's going up. But the thing you need to remember is that there's a good possibility that the reason that mill levy went up is because your valuation went down. You know, and at one time when Shannon was on the committee, a mill was worth $312 million, or well, $312,000. The valuation was $312 million. Today, up there, our valuation is $252 million. So we've had a drop of about $60 million, maybe a little bit over. So in order to compensate for that, continue to provide the services like your fire trucks and your EMS services and your roads and, you know, your bridges and your highways and your health departments and all of those, you have to either maintain that level or start cutting. And I haven't had one person call me and tell me don't order that fire truck or don't bring that ambulance to my house.
Time, Candidate Rice. You have 30 seconds to rebut, starting with candidate Francis.
I could argue about the valuation. I think it's around 275, 277,000. Even though over that 5 years there's still been a $1.7 million increase in the amount of taxes that have been taken in by the county. They've increased the mill levy 45% since I left office. Things are tough. You always have to make things work. When I was a county commissioner, for instance, we lost $750,000 worth of funding from the state.
Candidate Rice, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I might remind you that there was about a little over $4 million administration center that was built that we had to take care of, had to insure, had to, you know, provide care for. Also, we had a little problem out at the fairgrounds due to the lack of a proper maintenance program. That cost us $375,000 to put the electricity back in that building. Otherwise, they were not going to turn the electric on at the fairgrounds. So, you know, to me, I would rather increase the mill levy a little bit.
That's time, Candidate Rice. All right, thank you for your answers on that question. Our next question was actually tagged with that question, both of those that were emailed in to the Liberal Chamber of Commerce. The second part reads, what are your top accomplishments while serving on the commission? And we'll start with candidate Rice.
I never looked at it as a top accomplishment. I don't know that I have a top accomplishment. I think that, you know, we've tried to maintain a good and proper maintenance program that costs money. We have spent tons of money repairing buildings, putting roofs on buildings, because in the past it was easier to say, well, we're going to hold the mill levy down, so let's don't do that. And so, you know, as far as the top accomplishment, I guess I would say updating and bringing a lot of our buildings up to, you know, standards that people in Liberal need and deserve. As far as one particular one, there's nothing that really stands out, but I think it's just a good maintenance program and proceeding with that.
Candidate Francis.
You know, there's a lot of things that I'm proud of. We needed an administration building. When I first became a county commissioner, the project that I was told to look at was a $12 million expansion. We did do about a $3.5 million expansion. There were no bonding fees. There was no interest. It took care of a real need in the community, and we moved forward. We started the county administrator position because we needed that professionalism. We needed that person to coordinate the different department heads to make us more efficient. The over 200 jobs that we brought to this area through helping Conestoga Energy get started, I think is huge. You know, I go on and on. I served with a lot of great commissioners, two of which are out here in this audience right now. And serving with them was also one of my great accomplishments.
Thank you, Candidate Francis. Each candidate will now have 30 seconds to rebut, starting with Candidate Rice.
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you, Candidate Rice. Candidate Francis, 30 seconds if you choose so.
No, I'm fine.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Once again, I would like to remind our listening audience that you can submit questions for our candidates by calling 624-3855 or by emailing brenda@liberalkschamber.com. For those in attendance tonight at the depot, you may submit written questions for our candidates. Just ask one of our legislative committee members for a note card, write your question on it, and turn it in. Again, no personal attack questions will be allowed. Our next question, and I believe we will start with Candidate Francis. If elected to the 125th District, name the top 2 priorities that you will address that will help Southwest Kansas and Seward County grow. If elected, name the top 2 priorities that you will address that will help Southwest Kansas and Seward County grow.
The sad fact of it is nobody cares what a freshman representative thinks. So you're going to have to work really hard to get anybody to listen. I think the most important thing, I've got a long-term plan on Highway 54. Like I said earlier, I was the chairman of the long-range plan for rural highways. I want to try to build some seniority. In 6 years, the highway plan is going to come up. We need to have someone with some seniority in that situation that understands highways, that understands the way the state thinks, to try to get something done on Highway 54. I've got a plan for that.
Thank you, Candidate Francis. Candidate Rice.
You know, you're probably going to think I'm a little strange here, but, you know, I've been out walking the streets trying to find these addresses. I think Shannon would probably agree with this. About 50% of the houses, there's no address visible on those things. You kind of have to guess where 222 or something is. And as I was walking along the streets, I thought, you know what? I ought to just go to Topeka and pass a law that everybody has to have a visible address on their home. So, you know, that's... I don't know that that's necessary, and I don't know that that's a state duty, but on the other hand, I'd encourage you folks that don't have a visible address, it's pretty important if that ambulance driver is looking for you, and, you know, or that fire truck, of course, if the blaze gets high enough, they'll be able to find you anyway. But, you know, as far as having any priorities, I'm similar to Shannon. I think there's some things that we can do, but you have to remember that you have to convince at least 63 other representatives to be on your side and to help you pass the legislation. So
it's time, Candidate Rice. 30 seconds to rebut, starting with Candidate Francis.
You know, I thought of one other thing that I think is really important for our community. You know, we just had this bond issue pass. We need to go forward with a sense of optimism. We need to feel like we can achieve things. And I hope, you know, being a representative, that I can communicate that to the rest of the community. I hope that if I'm successful and you elect me, that you feel like I'm the best representative you've ever had, and that you know that I'm really here for you instead of people in eastern Kansas.
Thank you, Candidate Francis. Candidate Rice, 30 seconds if you choose.
You know, one of the things that I think is important is carry your message. And I've been working with the county for, you know, quite some time on different issues, and it concerns me greatly that a lot of those legislators up there are lawyers. And the rest of them have had very little experience working with the county. They've never been a county commissioner. They don't understand that those mandates that they're passing down to the counties is actually costing you folks the money. So I think, you know, an objective there would be to go up there and try to explain
That's time,
to those
Candidate
guys.
Rice. All right, thank you for your answer to that question.